The book of Revelation has been called apocalyptic, scary, frightening, something that people should avoid and not read. I brought an expert on who's going to show you that Revelation can be a wonderful book. Folks, it's my great pleasure to have my friend and fellow Revelation book author. I wrote the book, The Mighty Angels of Revelation, because I love Revelation so much. And Todd Hanson here has written an even better book, I think, The Non-Prophet's Guide to the Book of Revelation. If you want a fun way to read the book of Revelation, he's used all his fantastic cartoonist skills to write this book. Todd, so great to have you on, brother.
Likewise, man. It's great to be here. Always a pleasure.
Well, we're going to talk about the book of Revelation because we find that people tend to be scared to read it. You know, as I do, is that the book of Genesis and the book of Revelation both tend to be ignored in the Bible. Genesis because they mythologize it, but Revelation is avoided. Can you give us some of the reasons why some people might not want to read the book of Revelation, and maybe share a little why you felt you needed to write a book about Revelation?
Yeah, sure thing. I mean, for sure, there are some scary things in there, but only if we're here during that time. So you and I both believe in the pre-tribulation rapture. I believe it's clearly taught from cover to cover in Scripture that, God rescues us before he brings wrath on the earth. And honestly, even that 7-year tribulation period where he's bringing wrath on the earth, really one of the main purposes is to give people one last chance to see he's real, judgment's real, his grace is real, and that they could come to him. But anyway, so there is some scary things in there. But the reason that people are scared of it so often, I think, is primarily from a few things. One, just bad teaching. There's people that allegorize or spiritualize it or make their own interpretation, which Scripture clearly says not to do. It's a literal chronological future book. That's the way it's portrayed. That's the way it's explained. That's the way we should understand it. It's actually much more simple than people realize once you understand that. Also, there's a lot of misinformation about it. People, try to pour in their own meaning to different things. The symbols, for example, all the symbols in Revelation are you can figure out what they are either from the immediate context or from an allusion to the Old Testament. There's in the 800 or 404 verses of Revelation, there's over 800 direct references to the Old Testament. Wow. So you got to kind of know your Old Testament. And if you don't, when you study the book of Revelation, it will force you to learn key aspects of the Old Testament. And also, I think one of the things that make people scared or a little put off to studying the book of Revelation is the infighting, is the, people fighting about different views and that kind of thing, when that's really not what God tells us to do. We're to, matter of fact, we're going to talk here in a little bit about how there's a promise in the book that really guides us on how we should look at the book of Revelation.
Oh, tell us about that. So the book of Revelation comes with a bona fide promise that if you read it, what?
Yeah, it's the only book in the Bible, as far as I know, that has an explicit promise that those who read it will be blessed. Okay. Revelation 1:3, in the prologue, in the opening few verses of the book, it says, "Blessed is the one who reads aloud the words of this prophecy, and blessed are those who hear it and take to heart what is written in it, because the time is near." So it promises a blessing. And it's also, along with that, we read the epistles, so to speak, the letters, Paul's letters, Peter, all the things that we learn about theology. Well, this book was delivered to John from Jesus. So these are Jesus's direct words to John. So that amps it up even more. So inherently it's going to be a blessing to us. And we have a bold promise that you will be blessed by reading it and studying it.
Well, folks that could get scared, is obviously it talks about the 7-year tribulation time period. It talks about 21 judgments of God. We learn that billions of people die during this time period. There's an antichrist that comes and rules. There's a mark of the beast. Again, terrifying aspects of it. But it actually ends with a wonderful ending, right? Maybe let's get ahead a little. I hate to spill the beans on how Revelation ends because we want you folks to read the book. But Todd, tell us, how does the book end?
It ends beautifully. I mean, I often tell people, kind of a segue from the last question to this one, is that if you read the whole Bible, but you don't read the book of Revelation, it's like going to your favorite movie and then walking out before the best part. It's got all those scary action scenes, but what you're talking about now is the beautiful ending that it has. The short answer is we win and God wins. God, we're raptured out in the beginning. We come back with the Lord at the end of the tribulation period. We set up a millennial kingdom with God. We get to serve him for 1,000 years on a perfect paradise on earth. It just gets better and better. Then after that, Satan's let out for one last battle, and then we get to go to be with God for all eternity. And who knows how amazing that's going to be, but it just gets better and better and better, and we win. I mean, how encouraging is that, even for a time like this when we see so much, evil in the world and people getting away with evil things? There's coming a time when God will set all accounts straight. He will judge evil. He will restore everything to the way it's supposed to be, and we will get to be with him forever and ever in a perfect eternity.
Wow. Well, folks, if you're trying to understand the book of Revelation, obviously we want you to read the Bible. But Todd, how can people get your book to help them understand? Let it be their guide through the book of Revelation.
Sure thing. They can go directly to my website, toddhampson.com. I don't sell the books on my site, but they can get all the information they need. Or they can go to their favorite online bookstore and get it there. It's available just about everywhere. And also there's a website set up called thenonprofitsguide.com that has information on the entire Nonprofits Guide series.
Todd makes it real simple to understand and a lot of fun. I hope folks, you dive into the book of Revelation and find the wonders. If you are, like Todd said, seeing the world as evil and we keep praying for God to interject and bring justice and peace to the world, that's what the book of Revelation is all about.